2, 3, start.
Okay, so good evening, भास्कर अभिजीत. गुड इवनिंग. काफी दिन हो गए. सो क्रिकेट के मामलों में काफी बातें चर्चा रहता है अपना. सो लेट अस टॉक अबाउट इट. एक चीज जो सो वी हैव थ्री टॉपिक्स टू कवर. एक, आर वी गुड अनफ प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर वर्ल्ड कप. तो पहला वो है. दूसरा, इमीडिएटली एशिया कप से व्हाट शुड बी द इमीडिएट थिंग्स, मतलब हमारे लिए क्या क्या हमें देखना जरूरी है. एंड थर्ड इज इंजरीज, जो सम ऑफ दीज थिंग्स विच इज कॉजिंग अ बिग ट्रबल जो है, उसके लिए व्हाट आर द सॉल्यूशंस विच वी हैव. ठीक है. सो पहला, भास्कर, मैं आपके पास आता हूं कि आपको क्या लगता है कि वेयर आर वी प्लेस्ड ऑन वर्ल्ड कप प्रिपरेशन, आर वी गुड अनफ, क्या चल रहा है, आप बताएं.
Okay. See, first of all, I think we need to get it sorted whether who's going to be ready and who's not going to be ready. ठीक है, वो बहुत जरूरी है. पहले मतलब if KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer are not fit for Asia Cup, there's no point picking them for the World Cup if they're not going to be match fit. And we don't know how it's going to be, because if somebody like KL Rahul is coming back from a knee injury, it's highly unlikely, because he's already a part-time keeper. He's not a full-time keeper who's been keeping for 90 overs or like 150 overs in a Ranji Trophy game. He keeps maybe for 20 overs in a T20 game. He has kept for 50 overs in ODI on the internationals, and I'm not even sure whether he has kept enough in list A games. So coming back from a knee injury, directly coming into a World Cup in India where spinners are going to play a major role, I'm doubtful about it, how his keeping is going to go. Again, as a pure batsman, I'm going to pick him. So that's again dicey. Okay, so second thing is we need to get 18 to 20 people fit and ready for the World Cup so that we can pick 15. So वो main है. तो कल अभी team selection होने वाला है. So now how are we going to handle injuries? वो सब it's a matter of the past. अभी वो सब तो long term का सोचना पड़ेगा कि कैसे injuries नहीं होना है. But now we need to get our World Cup team sorted out. So at least 15 नहीं तो at least 17, 18 players we need to sort out so that we can pick a 15. तो उसी में इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाला है, क्योंकि अभी केएल राहुल और श्रेयस अय्यर टू नंबर 4 एंड नंबर 5, वही दे वर लाइक लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू देम हैव प्लेइंग एट नंबर 4 एंड नंबर 5 फॉर अ लॉन्ग रन. बट अभी वो नहीं है. अगर नहीं है तो फिर क्या होने वाला है? ईशान किशन अगर ओपन करेंगे तो फिर शुभमन गिल कहाँ खेलेंगे? सो दैट्स अनदर इश्यू. सो अगर शुभमन गिल भी खेलेंगे, ईशान किशन भी खेलेंगे, और फिर देन इस विराट कोहली गोइंग टू गो एट नंबर 4? जब से रवि शास्त्री ने वो पॉइंट since he made the point, I think we've seen Cricinfo also discussing a lot about it, whether Virat Kohli can bat at 4 or not. So all these things are going to be a big matter of concern. Fast bowling is more or less sorted out with Siraj and Mohammad Shami also coming back, along with Bumrah if he's fit. Prasidh Krishna is also another option. And with Shardul Thakur and Hardik Pandya being the all-rounders, I think we are sorted out with the bowling. At least the pace bowling. Spin bowling, I think Kuldeep is surely going to be picked, come what may. Ravindra Jadeja is another certainty. It's about Akshar Patel. Will we go for another spinner, Akshar Patel, and can we see a last-minute inclusion of Ashwin? All the time we keep talking about it because the World Cup is happening in India. So I think these are going to be the issues, whether Bishnoi is going to get a chance. But I doubt whether Bishnoi will get a chance. So I think that's what the issue is right now. Rajiv.
ठीक है. आपने मतलब बेसिकली एक तो इंजरीज पे थोड़ा बोला. इंजरीज पे विल कम, वी वांट टू स्पीक डिफरेंटली ऑन दैट. वो एक अलग ही टॉपिक हो जाता है, थर्ड टॉपिक अपना हो जाता है. मेन तो यही है कि प्रिपरेशन कहाँ तक पहुंचा है, मतलब आर वी रियली प्रिपेयर्ड. तो पट्टू, मैं आपके पास आता हूँ, आप बताइए. तो दो चीजें हैं. एक, हमने क्या उतने ओडीआईज खेले हैं क्या, मतलब डिड वी रियली प्रिपेयर टू प्ले फॉर दिस वर्ल्ड कप, मतलब ओडीआईज खेला है क्या, वो एक माइंडसेट है क्या? क्योंकि लास्ट ईयर, आई विल गिव एन एग्जांपल, लास्ट ईयर 2022 में जब वर्ल्ड कप हुआ था, these guys prepared for a lot of T20s. एटलीस्ट एक माइंडसेट वो था कि मैं इतने T20s खेलूंगा ताकि एक प्रिपरेशन हो जाए. वी प्लेड वेल बैड अगली, दैट्स अ डिफरेंट डिस्कशन. बट एटलीस्ट एक उतने T20s खेले, 20 20 और खेला हमने। ओडीआईस में इसीलिए पूछ रहा हूँ कि आप क्या सोचते हैं उसके बारे में।
थैंक यू सो मच राजीव एंड भास्कर, आफ्टर लॉन्ग टाइम आप लोग से बात करने में बहुत अच्छा लगता है। तो लिमिटेड ओवर्स क्रिकेट का जो सबसे बढ़िया कैप्टन है मेरे हिसाब से महेंद्र सिंह धोनी है। And during his tenure, he always maintained one thing, that for a World Cup, you need to start, selecting your pool roughly 2 years in advance and keep giving them the chances so that जब World Cup में आए, players should have played around 80 ODIs. Dhoni had said then. I'm speaking 2010, 14, 15, all along he's always maintained that around 70, 80 ODIs experience वाला कोई बंदा अगर उतरेगा, तो then you have a team, you have a squad of very experienced squad. So unfortunately, जो आप preparation के angle से कह रहे हो, I don't think we will going to have that. In fact, just for this call, I was looking through some of the numbers and they're very disappointing. I mean, Avesh Khan has played more ODIs than Arshdeep Singh. Just giving an example, okay? Then many of these contenders I mean, Tilak Verma is a contender. He's barely played. I don't think he's even played 5 ODIs. Okay, there are many others. Actually, multiple examples we have who have barely played handful of ODIs. Even Shubman Gill, I think, has played around 25 ODIs. And if we keep a benchmark, कि चलो 80 ODIs हो नहीं सकता, because these days we play less ODIs and more T20s and all. Let's keep a benchmark of 30 to 40 ODIs. Still, we'll have half the squad who will be selected tomorrow who will not have played, that many 40 ODIs also easily. Even Shardul Thakur has 38 ODIs to the best of my knowledge. So we will definitely be short on experience on the ODI front. Having said that, so that is one way of looking at the situation. The other way was the last 3 World Cups have been won by the hosts. And we are playing in India, where it is going to be a massive festival with over 1 crore people backing and defending us. And Mar Dhadke, if we reach the semi-finals, then after that it's a matter of 2 games. Okay, so we need to have the weaponry. More importantly, we need to have the pitches, because for example, England don't have any good spinner. So we need in our preparation, it should be कि बस semi-finals, finals, if India is reaching India, जहां भी खेलना है, it should have a bit of a spin pitch. The only team which has consistently overpowered us in World Cups is Australia. But versus Australia, off late, we have a very good record. In the last 3 years, if we see tests, ODIs, all formats combined, we have a very decent record against Australia. England don't have a spinner. The matches are in India. So we have some advantages to us. So अभी वही है कि we have to select a team. We should not select greenhorns. I'm totally against that. जितना ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस प्लेयर्स हम डाल सकते हैं, एंड वी हैव टू कीप अ परफेक्ट मिक्सचर. फॉर एग्जांपल, कुलदीप की बात हुई, अगर कुलदीप आता है, then definitely Akshar Patel will not come. So we have to keep in all the combinations in mind कि किसको हमें रखना है, किसको नहीं. Has the preparations been ideal? No, it has been a lot of chop and changing. Many things have gone wrong, and the track record the last 3 years isn't great in any format. But this is a home event, हमारा घर का event है, so we should look at it positively. Rajiv.
ओके, सो आपने दो बातें कहा. आपने कहा, एक कहा कि नंबर ऑफ ओडीआईज प्लेड इज लेस फॉर पीपल, मतलब एक 30 ओडीआई भी मार्क बहुत ही कम होंगे. एंड दूसरा आपने ये कहा कि मोर अबाउट कि इवेंट होम में है तो सेमीफाइनल पहुंचना इजी रहेगा, और अगर पहुंच जाते हैं तो इट्स मैटर ऑफ 2 गेम्स. आई थिंक आई एम इन अग्रीमेंट विद इट. बट मैं एक प्रॉब्लम बताता हूँ कि दिस प्रॉब्लम वुड हैव बीन सीन 2 years बैक. मेरा ये इशू वही है कि जब आप देख रहे थे कि दिस इज कमिंग सम वे, आपने उस पर यू डिड नॉट टेक एनी एक्शन अगेंस्ट इट. वो ना, दैट इज व्हाट डिसअपॉइंट्स. फॉर एग्जांपल, अभी assuming that Shreyas Iyer and KL Rahul are the guys who are going to play, injury है and they're not participating and all, I find it okay. But even those guys were not consistently given that positions to play and all those stuff. एक main issue ये आ जाता है कि for the last 10 years or so, हम लोग we've been playing more and more of T20 cricket. 2015 World Cup से ODIs कम होते जा रहा है. And then what is happening is, the best players who represent India, they play at the top in T20 in their own franchisee or whatever it is. And then with pick and choose after 2019 World Cup, लोग मन मर्जी से जब खेलना चाहते हैं खेलते हैं, जब मन मर्जी खेलना नहीं चाहते हैं. So these are very pertinent questions. I think preparation, जहां तक मैं देखता हूँ, एक एडवांटेज या डिसएडवांटेज जिस भी तरीके से बोले, though India is not prepared well, but so as the other teams, they have not played differently. अब कल न्यूजीलैंड बी का एक साइड यूएई से हार गया, and it is all going down to that preparation only. It's not that New Zealand is a bad team, but वही है, and that is why when West Indies में हार गए तो अपने वाले बहुत ज़्यादा they were like going mad after it, but it was a West Indies pitch, काफी slow है, पहला 2 ODI T20 समझ में नहीं आया, and that's why they lost the series. But उसका मतलब individual form से कोई लेना देना नहीं है. That's what I'm thinking. Anyway, so it's a good thing we've started. Now let's come to one big factor which can help us in selection, और वो है एशिया कप. ठीक है, सो भास्कर मैं आपके पास आता हूँ कि एशिया कप में आप क्या देखना चाहते हैं. सो वन इज देयर आर टू थिंग्स आई वांट यू टू फोकस ऑन. वन इज व्हाट काइंड ऑफ सिलेक्शन criteria you want on Asia Cup, and second is what is the processes you think people should follow this time so that ODI में वो फायदा रहे वर्ल्ड कप में, because this is the preparation. इससे बड़ा preparation कुछ नहीं है, and I'm telling you, playing against Pakistan is a big advantage. Not only that mental thing of playing Pakistan, but also because Pakistan is one of those teams which has decent preparations on one-day internationals. So over to you, Bhaskar.
Yeah. See, as we were talking about preparation, I missed out on that particular aspect. See, what I feel is getting the team right is more important than preparation, because ultimately they need match fitness. Okay, they need a little bit of match practice, and they're all experienced players enough. So T20 से ODI में जाने के लिए it's not a huge change for experienced players. For example, Virat Kohli plays a T20. It's the same preparation for him to play it. Like he gets enough bats, or like ball on bat, and then he gets prepared for a ODI game. So it doesn't make too much of a difference for a player who's experienced in ODI cricket. So more than preparation, I think we need to get the 15 players right and all of them fit and raring to go. वो नहीं हुआ तो then we're going to be struggling. From what we saw in the last World Cup, people got injured and then we were not sure of who's going to replace whom. So वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए. We need to get the team exact, like almost perfect. So right now we have a 15 which is going to be selected tomorrow, maybe 17, but we know what the 15 is going to be if everybody is fit. Okay, with Chahal also making the 15. So I think we should see Asia Cup as an extension of the World Cup. So the World Cup should be an extension of the Asia Cup. So we should start playing the World Cup right from the Asia Cup. We shouldn't have too many changes coming in after the Asia Cup. So we should look at the 15 we want to take forward to the World Cup and pick them tomorrow, and maybe pick a couple of extra players if in case injuries happen. So I've always thought that 15 is in the modern era, with so much of cricket happening, they should extend the 15 to 17 or 18, I feel, for big competitions, because last moment changes becomes a big hassle for many teams. So with so many injuries happening and so much of cricket happening, I think they should look at making it an 18 member squad or a 17 member squad. Like, for example, in the Football World Cup, they have, I think, 22 or 23 people. Players. How many, Patnaik? How many players do they have for a Football World Cup?
23.
So, see, they have enough players in the bank with them on the benches. So they don't have to really struggle for a player, especially teams that travel overseas. At least for India, this time it's at home. So a player doesn't have to get a visa, travel to another country, get used to the what do you call, daylight saving hours, or jet lag and all that. So that's where I feel teams should have enough players, and that's what happens these days. Even if I think 2015 World Cup, I think we had enough players, net bowlers and players, even though they were not a part of the 2015, like Bhuvneshwar Kumar. So I think we need to get the team right and need to get the formula right. And once we stick to a formula, I think we shouldn't change it. We shouldn't chop and change anymore. We should try to play 11 who's going to win us the World Cup. One or two players like Ashish Nehra getting injured in the semi-final, getting in Srishant, or for one match you pick Ashwin because the track wants you to play an extra spinner. Something like that works. But I think we need to get a team 11 right, and we need to take it all along till the World Cup finals. I think that's how Australia used to win the 2003 or the 99 World Cups. I think we need to look at that kind of a formula. We should start our World Cup right from the first game in the Asia Cup. Rajiv.
Okay. So you're saying that no point in chopping and changing now. Just get your team. we're also advocating for a longer pool of players available, मतलब ज़्यादा number of players ज़्यादा होना चाहिए करके, ठीक है? I think it's a fair call. अभिजीत, आप, so while you speak on about this, आप कोई ऐसा 2 खिलाड़ी बताइए जो आपको लगता है कि दे दो चांस, कोई इशू नहीं है, इनको दे दो, बिकॉज यू थिंक दैट वो करंट सिनेरियो में दे कैन मेक अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस करके, दो, एक या दो मे बी.
Actually, my name was the same name जो भास्कर ने recommend किया था after IPL. That is Rinku Singh. But I think we have lost a grand chance. We had a very composed player जिसका who has the right mentality, who has excellent first class innings, but we hardly gave him chances. The first time he got a score was today only. I mean, first time he got to bat for India was actually today. So I don't think we have time to give him that. But ideally, I would have picked him. And हमारा जो hole है ना वो middle order में है. And I very seriously felt he was a good guy for that. And anyway, so we have missed that. And but अभी आप पूछ रहे हो who can be our X factor, इसको chance दे ही दो. Honestly, very tough for me to say. It looks very good saying Tilak Varma bolo, Yashasvi Jaiswal bolo, but Tilak Varma and Yashasvi Jaiswal played a couple of knocks versus a team that was 4 out of 5 teams in the qualifier tournament. Which had Scotland, Netherlands, Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe. उसमें से वेस्ट इंडीज के 4th out of 5th टीम, उसके अगेंस्ट हमने थोड़ा बहुत स्कोर जो भी बनाया, आई डोंट थिंक दे शुड बी given chance basis of that. I mean, we have to go with the trusted spot. And so now those player jisko de do, I honestly don't think, if I am given a right, I may think of going back to Shikhar Dhawan, which is again a very X factor. Ki boss ab Shikhar Dhawan to khela hi nahi India ke liye for a very long time, but at home he has a terrific record in ICC tournament. So मेरे जो एक्स फैक्टर 2 प्लेयर्स हैं, आई डोंट थिंक दे आर इन द रेडार एंड दे विल बी कंसिडर्ड. एंड अल्टीमेटली हम जिनको कंसिडर करेंगे विल बी टेकिंग द सेफर प्लेयर्स, लाइक एन अक्षर पटेल. ही इज अ सेफ प्लेयर. ही इज अ बिट ऑफ अ बैटिंग, बिट ऑफ अ bowling, bit of a up down भेजो. But if you ask me, Shikhar Dhawan, Akshar Patel, he stopped taking wickets. He will become a liability in Indian pitches, especially bowling second if there's dew around. Now, coming to the important point of Asia Cup, I don't know if you all followed or not, but I followed the Lanka Premier League very closely because I used to play Dream 11 every day, including today. इस लंकन प्रीमियर लीग में एंड उसके पहले लंका पाकिस्तान के टेस्ट मैचेस हुए थे. अक्रॉस ऑल दीज टेस्ट मैचेस एंड T20s एंड जितने भी गेम्स हुए लंका में, one thing is very clear, their pitches are supporting the bowlers a lot more. अभी जो इंडिया जाएगी वहां पे एशिया कप खेलने के लिए, suddenly you will find Akshar Patels and Shardul Thakurs coming back with truckload of wickets and the batsmen struggling for runs. But that will not be a right, there'll be not be a right benchmark to think what will happen in the World Cup. World Cup will be very different. अभी जो लंका प्रीमियर लीग T20 चल रहा है, typically the scores have been between 120 and 150, वो भी मर मर के. And many teams have got all out 40, 60, 80, maybe many teams have got all out. And typically all the teams are losing a lot of wickets. I mean, 150 bhi jo pahunch raha na, 7-8 wicket ko ke pahunch raha. So the Lanka pitches are tough for a batsman now. How a batsman will able to steady themselves and play for 50 overs in those pitches is very difficult. I see those pitches as becoming 220, 240 type pitches. Our batsmen may not come back with truckload of runs, but our bowlers will come back with truckload of wickets, and that won't be the right indication. Rajiv.
इंटरेस्टिंग बोला आपने. तो आपने 2 पॉइंट बोला. एक तो आप कह रहे थे कि रिंकू और शिखर धवन आर द पीपल हु शुड विल मेक अ बिग डिफरेंस, आपको लगता है? या आई थिंक सो. मैं तो वन इज, मैं उस दिन आप लोगों से बात भी कर रहा था कि सी होता क्या है कि आपके जो प्लेयर्स होते हैं नंबर 4, 5 पे जो खेल रहे हैं, दे शुड हैव अ पर्सनल इंटरेस्ट इन मेकिंग दैट स्पॉट देयर ओन. यहाँ प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हमने केएल राहुल और श्रेयस अय्यर को 4-5 बनाया, बट दे इमीडिएटली whenever they got the chance they went back to that 1-2-3. You getting it? So होता क्या है कि उनको पर्सनल इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. And the only player who has started to do well, you will remember that England series जो one days हुआ था, जिसमें जसप्रीत बुमराह ने 6 विकेट्स भी लिया था, उसमें ऋषभ पंत ने कमाल का सेंचुरी बनाया था. And I was very hopeful because if Rishabh Pant started, he would have played till now. He would have got another ODI century, hopefully, and also probably get those important knocks. And Rishabh Pant could have made a huge difference. And I'm not talking because Rishabh Pant का class है करके, वो तो है ही है, but also because he owned that spot. He was happy to play at that 4-5. हार्दिक पांड्या, जैसे भास्कर भी कह रहे थे कि he should play at 6 because of the kind of overs and that skill he brings in, but उसको खुद का इंटरेस्ट 4 पे खेलने का है, but when he comes to 4 he has not made 100, right? So hundreds, making hundreds in India is important. और हमारे यहाँ पे अभी गिल, रोहित और कोहली के अलावा किसी को 100 बनाने का यही नहीं है. The only guy who's made at number 4 is Shreyas Iyer, who's made 200, and probably KL Rahul has made 200. So ये एक problem है, and that's why Rinku Singh is very important because he plays that number and he owns that number. So पता नहीं, I don't think he'll be chosen because अभी बहुत लेट हो गया. तो and ऊपर से राहुल द्रविड़ is he's looking like that टीचर ना, हाई स्कूल टीचर, कि नहीं मैं ये जिद पकड़ के मैं यही करूंगा करके. सो बिकॉज आफ्टर द डेबकल व्हिच हैपेंड इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, क्योंकि हमने सिर्फ एक अच्छा मैच खेला पाकिस्तान के साथ, वो भी अच्छा नहीं खेला हमने, ठीक ठाक खेला, कोहली की वजह से मैच जीता. अदरवाइज वी हैड अ प्रीटी वेरी वेरी ऑर्डिनरी टूर्नामेंट. सेमीफाइनल में इंग्लैंड ने धो दिया हमको. इमीडिएटली दे शुड हैव गॉट अ व्हाइट बॉल कोच, सेलेक्टर, कोच, जो भी स्पेशलिस्ट एक लेके आना चाहिए था जिसका लार्जर से होता. आप भले ही राहुल द्रविड़ को हेड कोच रखो बिकॉज स्किल्स के मामले में ही इज स्टिल द बेस्ट, बट व्हाइट बॉल कोच होता है. बट पता नहीं, मतलब दे जस्ट डिड नॉट थिंक दैट वेज. एंड while I back रोहित शर्मा टू डू डिसेंट कैप्टनसी बिकॉज इट इज इंडियन पिचेस, ओडीआई का अंडरस्टैंडिंग भी उसको ठीक ठाक है, कोहली साथ में है, ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर फाइन. बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू दैट की मैचेस ना, 4-5 ही जिताएगा भाई. युवराज ने ही मैच 2011 हमको जिता के दिया था. 1983 में भी यशपाल शर्मा और संदीप पाटिल यही लोग जिता के दिए थे. लेट्स नॉट फॉरगेट ऑल दीज थिंग्स. जब भी मेजर टूर्नामेंट्स होता है 4-5 ही जिता के देता है, और हमारा 4-5 ही अभी खस्ती है, वही मेन प्रॉब्लम. बट एनीवेज, नाउ आई कम टू द लास्ट टॉपिक अभी, इंजरीज. नाउ आपके पास 3 ऐसे प्लेयर्स हैं जो रेगुलर्स हैं ओडीआई में, ठीक है, लेकिन दे हैव लॉट ऑफ इंजरी इश्यूज. And we'll come to the softer injury issues later. Yeah, maybe we can talk about it now itself. So एक तो केएल राहुल, श्रेयस अय्यर क्लियर कट इंजर्ड है. जसप्रीत बुमराह just after he's come back from an injury, but I'm telling you that जसप्रीत बुमराह अगर आ जाता तो हमारा बॉलिंग अटैक बहुत स्ट्रांग हो जाता है, but we don't know. So these 3 are injured players. ऋषभ पंत खेल नहीं सकता. And then your soft wool, आप जैसे कहते हैं ना कॉटन वुल, अभिजीत आपका एक रिमार्क है, हार्दिक पांड्या और प्रोबेबली शार्दुल ठाकुर, ये सब 2-3 हैं जो मतलब कॉटन वुल में लपेटे हुए हैं. रोहित शर्मा खुद ही मतलब एक थोड़ा ये है. सो हाउ डू यू सी इट, सो भास्कर हैड अ पॉइंट राइट कि 18 प्लेयर रखो क्योंकि यही सब प्रॉब्लम्स हो सकता है करके. बट कैसे देखते हैं इंजरीज, आर वी इन फॉर मोर इंजरीज, या जो इंजरीज से आ रहे हैं उनको लेना ठीक है, क्या क्या सोचते हैं आप?
I mean, again, injury जो है ना, that is very linked to the number of games you have played. If you know somebody कि इसने 70-80 वनडेज खेला तो you know he's a less injured. Right? आप इतने कम गेम्स क्यों खेले? बिकॉज आधे टाइम आप इंजर्ड पड़े रहते हो. तो you know that is one of the reasons, or you don't get selected, of course. But I don't know. I don't think BCCI or you know anybody will agree for 20 to 23 man squad. Definitely not BCCI क्योंकि टूर्नामेंट इंडिया में हो रहा. So if any one player has an injury which rules him out of the World Cup, there will be some provision to add another player. So I think that will be taken care if I'm not wrong. Definitely if a player is completely injured for the entire thing. Yeah. But talking of injuries, जो 3 नाम दिमाग में आता है, of course, is Bumrah, KL and Shreyas Iyer. All 3 of them being injured over the last 6 months. Bumrah was injured for over close to a year. That definitely hampered our plans. There is no doubt on that. But Bumrah still has the time. He may still have a few matches under his belt since he plays all formats to get into some sort of rhythm before the World Cup. I mean, he'll play Asia Cup, maybe he'll play one more tournament. हमें पता भी चलेगा because just T20s जो खेल रहा है आयरलैंड में, they are low pressure. आप 2-3 ओवर करके भी it is okay. But we'll come to know in the Asia Cup how good his fitness is. And he'll be amongst wickets in Asia Cup. I have no doubt on that. But on KL and on Iyer, I don't think we should try to force fit them into the squad because one, they are not very dependable players. So, all you need Shreyas Iyer in the middle is you need a fast bowler to keep bowling him bounces. He'll go out. He's not. KL and Shreyas are not your 80-run players even in the middle order. At best, they can make you a 50-60. Forget expecting a century from them. So, जैसे एक जमाना था, हम अगर 50 for 5 होते थे तो भी युवराज आके सेंचुरी मार सकता था, धोनी आके सेंचुरी मार सकता था. KL and Iyer are nowhere close to that big run machine class. So जबरदस्ती उनको हम मैचेस देंगे एशिया कप में Asia Cup में they will, they are not likely to get runs much in Asia Cup. That Zabarste World Cup, it doesn't make sense. So I think we have to go with, whosoever has got runs for us in the last 1 year, which includes Gill. I totally agree with Bhaskar's formula that Virat should come 2 down and Gill should come 1 down, and then take the batting order accordingly. Rajiv, over to you.
Okay, Bhaski, आप बोले आप you are a big Shikhar fan also. बताएं.
See, देखिए मैं एक चीज बोलना चाह रहा था कि नंबर 4 and 5 is what we are talking about, KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer, but Yuvraj and Dhoni were not 4 and 5. If you remember, Yuvraj was 5 and Dhoni was 6. Okay, and number 4, we have, for example, 2011 World Cup, if we see as the best template India has had, it was Virat Kohli was batting at 4, because we had 3 world-class openers. Of course, one was probably the greatest opening batsman ever, Sachin Tendulkar, and then we had Virendra Sehwag, one of the greatest test batsmen of all times, and then we had Gautam Gambhir, who was a huge big match, was a real massive big match player. And we had probably the next Virat Kohli, who was a youngster, but he was already the great player he was to become, because he had started playing in 2008 itself. So we had that kind of team, and then we had Yuvraj and Dhoni, and then we had Suresh Raina, who could score centuries at number 7. So that's the kind of team we had. And with even Hardik and Jadeja at 6 and 7 are not good enough to really win you games by scoring hundreds. And that's where I have a problem. Ideally, I would still have Jadeja at 7 and maybe Hardik at 8. And if Hardik can bowl 10 overs, then we have a great batting lineup. And I think that's where we have a serious issue. 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't have players who have had enough hundreds. Hardik has got 100 in all forms of the game, including first-class cricket. That's 1 test century he scored. He doesn't have any other Ranji Trophy 100. He just has 1 first-class 100. That's a test century. No List A 100 or ODI 100 or a T20 100 or a T20 International 100. So that's the only 100 he has. Jadeja has a few hundreds, 2 List A 100s. No ODI 100 yet. Of course, he has 3 test centuries, one of them in England. So he's coming up as a major player. I think he's going to play a vital role, I feel, at number 6 or 7, wherever he bats. But Hardik's batting, still I have serious doubts whether he can really score 120, 130. Of course, the kind of batting he played, the innings he played in the T20 semi-final, he was the one who took us to 160. But again, what we need is somebody who can really play big knocks, if at all we lose 2-3 early wickets. So I think we have a problem in the middle order. Rinku Singh, I think the kind of average he has in first-class cricket, an average of 58, 59, a List A average of 49, and the kind of maturity he has shown in the short time we have seen, I think he can be what Yuvraj Singh did for India in the 2001 Champions Trophy. If you remember, Yuvraj had not even played a single international game, and he was the one who took us to the finals. We lost the finals, unfortunately, in spite of playing well, but that happens. But we need to look at players like Rinku Singh, and when he looks so promising, why not take a chance and keep him in the 15? Rajiv.
Interesting. इनफैक्ट कल अब जब सिलेक्शन होगा रिंकू का नाम आएगा, क्योंकि आज he is the man of the match, by the way. He is the man of the match today. Yeah, that's what Avijit is also typed in. He is the man of the match also. So it's very critical to see him. Tilak Verma bhi, I think his name was also doing the rounds, क्योंकि एक Tilak Verma again is another player who's happy to play at that 4-5 spot and plays a lot of balls around the ground. वो मेन था वेस्ट इंडीज में. somebody who's not उठा के मारने का कोशिश नहीं करता, जो सैमसन हमेशा करता रहता है. By now, Sanju Samson, with all the kind of opportunities he's got, should have sealed 4-5, right? लेकिन नहीं किया उसने. बस just whatever attitude. और शशि तरूर, sorry to use his name, but some of these fan club जो सैमसन के हैं, टाइप करते रहते हैं कि नहीं डालो उसको, ट्वीट करते रहते हैं कि करो करो करके, but doesn't मतलब not scored यार. मतलब आज for example today 50 was for taking ना, नहीं किया. He was playing better than Ruturaj Gaikwad, but Ruturaj Gaikwad was there till 17th over. वही difference है. It's all the mindset. Anyway,
just one point, Rajiv. See, Tilak Verma is just 20. He has hardly played he's played 25 List A games. Okay. But Rinku Singh, though he's 25, he has just made his T20 international debut now. But he's been playing for 6-7 years. He's got 55 list A games under his belt. So if you see that kind of experience, I think he should be up in the pecking order compared to Tilak Verma, because Tilak Verma has hardly played even first class cricket.
नहीं fair enough.
Rajiv, yeah.
नहीं fair enough. I'm just saying कि इन लोगों का नाम suddenly इसी बात पे आ रहा है क्योंकि people are now starting to get कि these are skills. 4, 5, 6 is a skill. वो skill set है, वो उस जगह पे खेलना जरूरी है. I think तिलक वर्मा also bowls, लेकिन उसको बॉल तो कराया नहीं है, तो मतलब क्या ही बोले. Anyway, so we'll close the call here. So I think we had a great discussion today, but I'm going to take 2 questions, very simple, quick questions. So I'm asking you, Bhaskar. One is Rinku Singh getting selected tomorrow? One of the questions is Rinku Singh getting selected tomorrow? And 2, who is going to be? Matlab, do you think Akshar Patel is Akshar Patel getting selected with Kuldeep doing well and all? So these 2 questions I have for you.
Yeah, Rinku is, from what I think of, Rinku is not going to get selected because he's got one more T20 international to play against Ireland. So probably he won't get selected. He might be in the 17, but Akshar Patel is surely going to be there. Akshar Patel, Kuldeep Yadav, and Yuzvendra Chahal. All 3 are going to be there along with Ravindra Jadeja. That's my feeling.
Okay. Avijit, आप?
No, अगर as you know, भास्कर ने जबरदस्त उसको summarize किया. If Rinku Singh was ever in their plans, they would have put Rinku in the pecking order immediately after IPL. But the fact that they put Jaiswal ahead of him, they put Tilak Verma ahead of him, means Rinku is nowhere in their radar. And I can understand Rinku won't ever have much PR backing, as much as the other guys will have. Now, coming to Akshar Patel, I hope he's not selected. But I know what Bhaskar is saying. I think he will get selected. I think if Akshar Patel gets selected as a bowler, he's a liability now. We don't really need a batsman who's going to give me 25 runs in 15 balls. We are not looking in the World Cup for that. We are looking in the World Cup for players जो 60 बॉल में 80 रन बना सकता है, या 90 बॉल में 90 रन बना सकता है, या 100 बॉल में 90 रन बना सकता है. We are looking for those batsmen. We are not looking for 15 बॉल में 25 रन type batsmen. For that we have Shardul Thakur and all who will likely get selected. I hope Akshar Patel doesn't get selected. Rajiv.
Even I would agree. In fact, अगर मेरा बस चले तो मैं रिंकू सिंह और को सेलेक्ट करूं और अक्षर पटेल को सेलेक्ट ना करूं. बट वी नो हाउ, आई मीन इतना हम लोग गेम्स देख चुके हैं, अब तो सेलेक्टर का दिमाग पढ़ना आसान हो गया हमारे लिए. So I don't think they're going to do anything here.
There's just one advantage with Akshar Patel is that Narendra Modi Stadium, where the final is going to be held, is his home ground. Okay, and he belongs.
क्या फर्क पड़ता है वो तो मतलब.
That's the only thing, and he did very well in that. If you remember against.
फिर तो आप कहोगे कि अश्विन को सेलेक्ट कर लो क्योंकि उसने नरेंद्र मोदी स्टेडियम में 6 विकेट लिया करके, मतलब doesn't, I don't think. See, skills के मामले में आज हमारा, so we'll come to this when we go through this World Cup thing. So one of the topics which we should talk about is why batsmen can't bowl today, क्योंकि that's making the big difference, right? So we'll talk about it later, but thank you guys for doing this. We had a great session, and let's catch up next weekend and we talk about another topic. By then we would know, we probably can talk about this topic, and then Asia Cup, how India will fare, we can talk about that topic also. ठीक है जी, thank you so much.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.